New York Times, December 7th, 2004. Puss Fortunato, creator of the catwalk, dies at 96. The secret couturier, champion mouser, and loyal companion, first to Marquis Mills Converse and then to Eleanor Lambert, passed away quietly in his apartment in Astoria. He was 96. For nearly 100 years, willowy fashion models in the latest lace and leather adornments or crystal and crinoline creations have paraded up and down narrow platforms under the watchful eyes of boutique buyers, magazine reporters, and celebrity trendsetters. Models do their little turn on the catwalk from New York to Milan, but few know when and why the fashion industry adopted the name for the runway. That story begins with shoes and ends with Puss, a feline of good taste and even better fortune. In 1908, in Malden, Massachusetts, former footwear factory manager Marquis Mills Converse decided to open up his own shoe factory. At the site of his new business, Marquis found a stray cat squatting in the back room, dressed in colorful rags and wearing black leather boots of his own creation. In what Marquis assumed to be an Italian accent, because Puss never divulged his origin or parentage, the stray swore lifelong fealty to the 47-year-old Marquis in exchange for a job and a home. Marquis took the intruder's appearance as a good omen, and from that point on, they were inseparable. Puss began working overnight security, but soon demonstrated his fashion savvy and was promoted quickly through the ranks. Although Puss never received any formal recognition for his work, in correspondence and in his private journal, Marquis credited Puss with turning the tide of his fortune. Puss not only introduced Marquis to Charles Chuck Taylor, he also boosted sales with his invention of Converse All-Stars. Marquis wrote in a 1917 letter to his wife, "Puss continues to have the most incredible instincts when it comes to shoes. Not only has he convinced me away from rubber shoes and toward the creation of athletic shoes, but he has come up with another incredible design. These are a smart pattern, and I think they will change the industry, maybe even the world." Puss continues to ask for nothing but a home and a job, and he takes no credit for his creations. If only the world were less cruel to cats, especially strays, I would sing his praises to the finest designers, but I fear the bigotry of this business is not ready for our Puss. Still, I shall protect him as I have sworn to do. The eccentric entrepreneur doted on his feline friend with such gusto that gossip rags questioned his sanity, and envious competitors tried to sneak peeks into the workshop where Marquis and Puss spent most of their days and nights. Marquis remained loyal to Puss until the business owner's death in 1931. Enticed by the designers of New York City and endowed with a healthy trust fund, it was then that Puss headed to Manhattan. Puss spent his days working in the back rooms of boutiques and his evenings at the Algonquin, listening to the conversations at the round table and happily curled in the lap of Dorothy Parker and Harpo Marx. But it was not until he made the acquaintance of Eleanor Lambert that both of their lives changed. Eleanor was not yet the fashion powerhouse or publicity genius that the world would come to know, but her fortune turned around when she took in the dashing young Puss with his fitted suit and unconventional all-star sneakers. Once again, Puss had found a rising star to whom he could whisper creative entrepreneurial suggestions. Another beautiful partnership was formed. The so-called Empress of 7th Avenue kept even more to herself than the Marquis had, and fewer people knew of Puss's influence or their relationship. He chose to remain in Eleanor's office, helping her behind the scenes. Employees talked about how much she doted on him, and when she really liked a designer's work, she frequently called it the cat's meow. In fact, Eleanor is said to have first printed the word catwalk, to honor her friend and muse, while others close to her credit Puss with coining the phrase. Either way, her fancy feline companion had an undeniable but quiet influence on the fashion publicist's life and career. It was Puss's all-star sneakers that inspired Eleanor's small blue star tattoo on her ankle, something revealed to the public in Puss's eulogy upon Eleanor's death in 2003. After Eleanor's death, Puss never recovered and lived as a recluse in his apartment in Astoria. It had been Eleanor's first apartment in the city, purchased as a co-op for Puss shortly before she died. And there, Puss Fortunato died peacefully in his bed, curled atop Eleanor's favorite fur coat and turban, a pair of faded Converse on his feet. Arrangements were made to have Puss buried privately beside Eleanor in a small golden coffin without a marker, a rosemary bush planted atop his grave.